We are here today with Emily Chazen. We start talking about the IPO that everyone has been talking about for I don't know how long now, a couple of years almost. We're of course talking about Facebook, and particularly looking at the man in the spotlight that is not Zuckerman, but his CFO, of course, who's shepherding this thing through, David Ebersman, who you describe we describe in a column here as the Hoogie Dowser of CFOs.
Yeah, the Doogie Howser.
The Doogie Howser. How does he? He's like some young kid that's sort of pushing this through quite outside the mold, I understand. Tell us a little bit about
he sort of rose up as this young kid and CFO in the biotech world. He was CFO of Genentech before he joined Facebook in 2009. So now he's about 42. He's still relatively young for a CFO of a major company, but this is totally his moment to shine. He's going to be out there on Wall Street introducing the company to investors, and he's really been behind the scenes prepping the IPO.
And what's sort of unique about him? And he doesn't fit the mold in terms of he's not an accountant, which is a typical role for a CFO, right?
He's not an accountant. He went to Brown University. He majored in international relations and economics, and he's sort of come up through the analyst world. He was a biotech analyst, and then he joined Genentech in product development. He was sort of behind their big cancer drug, Avastin, and helped launch that, and that propelled him into the CFO job at Genentech. And he sold Genentech in 2009, or was part of the group that sold it to Roche, so he was able to join Facebook when they were looking for a new CFO.
Okay. How does a guy with that background get his head around what is likely to be one of the biggest IPOs in history, and the nitty-gritty of ensuring that the right swath of investors are included in dealing with investment banks and Wall Street and so forth? Yeah,
well, there is a big difference between the biotech and the social networking. You'd think it would be different, but CFOs, they're often considered athletes, that they can go into one company and to another. He's sort of come up through everything at Genentech. He saw all the transitions in revenue growth and the same type of things that he's going to have to explain at Facebook to investors about how the company's going to innovate, how it's going to grow. It's sort of the same process.
Right. And we're talking about $10 billion, right? I mean, that's up to that amount, right?
And it's only a portion of the company.
Right, exactly. And valuations between 75 and 100 billion. Is he himself, I suppose, one of these people that's about to become extremely wealthy?
Yeah, I know everyone's talking about the Facebook millionaires and how it's going to be hard to retain them all, actually, for the company, so they're going to have to pay a lot more in to recruit people. But
because they got nothing, they might as well just go off and
pre-IPO. But he's actually only joined the company in 2009, and while he does probably have a lot of shares, it's not quite like Mark Zuckerberg.
Right, exactly. Is he close to Zuckerberg? I mean, how did he find his way into the company?
He was recommended into the company, and they thought that he was a really great fit. I think Mark Zuckerberg really related to him. He's known as a steady, sort of level-headed, relatable guy. He's very honest from people we've talked to who've worked with him before, and he's very credible with the street. So he's sort of a smart guy that I think Zuckerberg
the relationship with the street would be key, right?
Yeah, exactly, because they're going to want to see if Facebook can really make money.
Okay. So, I mean, and you've been talking with the investment bankers who are a part of this?
Yeah, we've had some of our colleagues at the Journal talking to the investment bankers, and they said that he's been really involved in sort of doing a different kind of pitch process. Usually they pit the banks against each other. In this case, he hasn't done that. He sort of said, I want to do the best thing for the company, and I don't care if the banks want to fight it out. So
wow, that does sound novel, actually.
This is a really hot IPO
I
for Wall
suppose
Street.
you have a bit of clout if you've got such a bit. You can actually tell Wall Street where to go if they have
exactly.
to. So what's the impact of that likely to be on investors? Has there been a broader reach, perhaps, of investors who are likely to get access to shares in this case?
I think we're still waiting for the S1, but they really want it to be sort of a blue chip offering. So they want to pitch it that way, that it's sort of the standard type of offering, and they want Facebook to be considered, a blue chip. Google did something different when they did their IPO, and that got mixed reviews. So this is a different process.
What about all of those unofficial exchanges, the trading that was going on in offline sites and things like that? Is that likely to impact the pricing on this at all, or is that a factor in any of this?
I think just sort of the hubbub that's gone on about all the off-exchange trading in secondary markets. Actually, it's a huge amount of the trading that's on secondary markets is Facebook. So if Facebook does begin trading on the public markets, some of that interest might die down on secondary markets.
Itself starts to die down as an instrument for doing this. I suppose we probably had Groupon or a few of the other ones that have already come to market there.
Exactly, a lot of them.
The prospects are all sort of falling off, it would seem.
Yeah.
And what has he been telling investors in terms of the direction for Facebook?
Investors are going to want to see a lot of different things. They're going to see where the company is wants to invest going forward, how it's going to expand its platform even further beyond its huge international platform right now, and it's going to be moving headquarters soon. So how are they going to manage that transition and other things?
And speculation as to what some of that might include.
In what way?
In terms of new expansion movements, any particular new areas of growth for Facebook?
I think we're going to have to wait and see.
Just wait
They
and
keep
see.
things close to the vest over
when
there.
When you go through an IPO, of course, you have to keep things pretty quiet, of course, as
yeah,
well.
but the S1 will be full of details, so we're expecting it after the market close. So it'll be really interesting to see the filing and what they have to say.
Now, this, of course, comes from CFO Journal. Not all of our viewers would be familiar with that. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what CFO Journal is all about.
Sure. CFO Journal is a premium version of WSJ.com for corporate finance professionals, CFOs, controllers, treasurers. We write sort of about corporate finance at companies across industries, so that you can, if you're a busy CFO, you can worry about hedging interest rates or learn what your colleagues are doing at other companies.
All right. For anybody out there with a CFO bent, go ahead and check it out. Thanks very much for
Thanks so much
for joining us, Emily.